What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about why Dawnbreaker has a 53% win rate. A pretty strong hero this patch, and I've been winning non-stop with this hero. Now, given I haven't been playing this hero from the offlane, I've actually been finding a lot of success from the mid lane. I do recommend you guys playing Dawnbreaker either offlane or mid lane. I think carry Dawnbreaker is very bad right now, and also support Dawnbreaker is not great. I'm not a big connoisseur of support Dawnbreaker, but if you guys are, let me know in the comments if you guys really like to play support Dawnbreaker, and if you do, what is the typical build you guys like to go for that you find success with. This is definitely a hero I always play core. I have never played support Dawnbreaker. I just know that it just doesn't perform very well by seeing a lot of games where it just doesn't do very well. Even played by very good players, it just doesn't seem to work. The facet you guys are going to be going for is solar charged. It is pretty much the best facet you can go for. It's just going to decrease your cooldowns by 1 second every time you hit a luminosity strike, which is pretty often, so your cooldowns are going to be heavily reduced, so you're going to be having a lot of mana issues. So you need to be building a soul ring on Dawnbreaker. Your typical build on her is going to be soul ring into phase boots into a wand, or you can get the wand before if you're going to get some value from it in the lane. Then you get the wand first and then the phase boots, and then it really depends on what you want to do. If you want to tank up and be able to man fight heroes, you want to get an echo saber. If you want to deal with a lot of spellcasters and just a lot of magic damage coming your way, you get a mage slayer. And if not, if you want to be very aggressive on the map and play it from the mid lane, you get an orchid. This item allows you to just go over and over and just getting kills. It makes this hero very strong. It gives you mana regen as well. It gives you that extra damage. It gives you attack speed. It's a very solid item, giving Dawnbreaker pretty much everything she needs, because the hero needs an item like this to be able to be unlocked. Otherwise, you're just kind of sitting there as more of a support. You're not going to be getting a ton of kills on the hero, and you can't really snowball. A snowballing Dawnbreaker is very difficult to bring down. She is very tanky, has a lot of ways to engage and disengage thanks to her celestial hammer, and doing a ton of damage thanks to her starbreaker. And eventually you're going to be getting some magic immunity thanks to that, thanks to your shard. Your Aghanim scepter is also really strong, so I do recommend that for the late game. It's not something you want to pick up very early unless you're playing offlane and you just need those heals. Otherwise, that item, you're pretty much picking it around the 4th, 5th item pretty much, but you typically want to start with one of those 3 that I just mentioned, and then you're going to head off into a BKB or an AC, maybe a blade mail if need be, and just really go crazy with it. There's so many items you can build on the Dawnbreaker that makes her a very versatile hero. There isn't just a straight build that you have to buy every single game. You can get a silver edge and just start breaking heroes. Maybe there's a bristleback in the game that's just causing too much mayhem and you're the best silver edge buyer on your team, then go for it. There's just a lot of ways you can play the Dawnbreaker, which makes her very nice and very versatile. And the fact that you have a very awesome ultimate is very good, because it means you're not going to be struggling to rotate on the hero from the mid lane, so you don't even have to commit your TP. You can just use your ultimate, group up with your team, help them secure a team fight easily and help them out, and then go back to the mid lane with your TP. That makes it very important. Not a lot of heroes in the game are able to do this, and it makes you push a certain pace that a lot of heroes are not able to meet. And also, if you're facing up against melee matchups in the mid lane, you're going to have so much fun on the hero. You just really don't lose a whole lot of matchups, and even some of the tough matchups you can definitely come out ahead just because you can stack for yourself in the mid lane and you're able to get all that XP. It's very difficult to shut you down on the Dawnbreaker. Even against very brutal matchups, you can just stack for yourself in the jungle or get your team to stack the nearby camps, push out the wave, and then go take those camps, farm them quickly. This hero farms extremely fast, so you're able to take a lot of camps at the same time thanks to your celestial hammer. It is pretty much your best ability, so that's what you're going to be maxing out, and then you're going to be maxing out your starbreaker and pretty much take a value point in luminosity just to have it. It's still a pretty good ability, but it's not something worth maxing, so that's pretty much the last thing you're going to be maxing. Let's break down some of the best support pairings you guys can use for the Dawnbreaker if you are playing from the offlane. Heroes like Lich, Tusk, and Lion are very good with Dawnbreaker. In general, heroes that have a stun is going to be good because it's going to set up for an easier starbreaker for you. It's going to keep them longer inside the fire of your celestial hammer, so that's even extra damage, and it's going to make your combos land much easier. But heroes like Lich can keep you alive for much longer, and heroes like Tusk can easily help you secure the lane, especially against tough matchups. Heroes like Bloodseeker, you can easily go up against these heroes and take care of them. Bloodseeker being the best carry of the patch, it is really good for you to have a really good matchup against that hero. Even throughout the game, you have a really good matchup against the Bloodseeker. You don't really care too much about the hero, and if you have a hero like Tusk to back you up, you're gonna be just fine and you're gonna have a good time in the lane, which is very important. You don't want to get absolutely destroyed in the lane as a Dawnbreaker. Even though you farm very quickly, you just don't want that to happen. Now let's break down some of the best and worst matchups for the Dawnbreaker. Some of the best matchups are Phantom Assassin, Legion Commander, Naga Siren, Pudge, Meatboat, Slark, and Bloodseeker. These matchups you do very, very well up against. Pretty much Dawnbreaker is kind of like the anti-carry hero. She does very, very well against these heroes, especially if they don't have a lot of mobility and you're able to lock them down and land a big Starbreaker. That is your bread and butter. Now, if it's heroes that can just get away and kite you from the team fights, or heroes that can man fight you like Ursa, then you start having a lot of issues on the Dawn. You want to be able to burst heroes fast enough or be able to sustain through the fight without getting absolutely shit on. So that is pretty much the key. So heroes like Huskar are pretty bad matchups. Heroes like Viper that break you, these matchups are kind of tough. But heroes like Slark, Naga Siren, Legion, these matchups you can easily go up against, especially Phantom Assassin, who's making a comeback. She's being played more and more often. It's a nice way to have the Dawnbreaker to be able to go toe to toe up against her. And if you want to, you can even get a Monkey King bar and go face to face against that hero, take care of them, buy yourself a Blade Mail and a BKB, and you're going to be just fine. It's a pretty good matchup overall for you. Some of the bad matchups are Morphling, Silencer, Lina, Nyx Assassin, Weaver, Viper. These matchups are quite difficult. Heroes like Weaver, you can beat them. It's just the fact that they're just so fast. But if you build the Orchid like I'd mentioned, you're going to be eating that Weaver for breakfast. It's not even going to be a contest. The hero's going to get absolutely steamrolled just because he's not going to be able to get a BKB fast enough for him to deal with your Orchid timing. It's not something he's going to be able to do in match. But if they do have supports backing them up, Weaver is just a hero that can just get away from you, and also his minus armor is just a lot. So if he's able to start laying into you, it can become a problem in that aspect. But heroes like Lina and Silencer obviously can cancel your ultimate as you're charging it. That is pretty much a problem. Other than that, it's not that big of an issue. But heroes like Lina dumpster you in the lane, so be careful if there's a Lina in the game. That can be a very big issue for you. So consider stacking camps and try and get out of the lane that way, because that lane you typically won't win that unless it's a very, very bad Lina player. Typically you don't want to go up against the Lina. Very, very tough matchup. She can just spellcast you straight out of the lane unless she makes a mistake, and you can close the gap with Celestial Hammer and take care of them that way. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know how many of you guys are actually playing mid lane Dawnbreaker. I think the hero is absolutely fantastic, and either off lane or mid lane is going to be the best roles. But for me right now, I've been having a lot of success from the mid lane, just having a lot of fun and not losing any games on this hero. It's absolutely fantastic, and I'm happy Dawnbreaker is in a really good spot and she's being picked much more often. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys learned something, consider subscribing and joining the Dota Chronicles community. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.